Welcome to Aboyne on the banks of the River Dee, and I'm James Littlejohn. This is where I come to get some fresh air every day after being at the keyboard for a couple hours. I thought it was an appropriate place to start my introduction to myself. I live in a village in Aberdeenshire in Scotland, where I was brought up and educated. And that education took me to Aberdeen, the degree in economics and accounting, which then took me into the dot-com era, which has taken me to Edinburgh, back to Aberdeen, to Mountain View, California, and a speckling of places around Europe on the back of finding Bitcoin in 2012. By that time, I was already working on some peer-to-peer technology for 8 years, a peer-to-peer text engine. So basically from 95 to 2008, I was educating myself to become a geek programmer, taught myself everything, continue to learn. I always use the phrase, I was born into Windows but became Linux, and that opened up the opportunity to develop, and that's behind my current project called the DIY Health Science Toolkit, which really is saying we've got the health of our wider environment and the health of ourselves, and how can we combine those in a peer-to-peer way to make sense of our own lives and the bigger picture of planet Earth. Welcome to this introduction of the Do-It-Yourself Health Science Toolkit that allows us to use the network to conduct N=1 network experiments. So we learn a lot about ourselves and our local environment individually, but if we can combine the combined network, then so much better the innovation. But at the same time, we need to keep in check through the scientific method the rigor of those claims. So this is what the network does through a thing called the Knowledge Bundle Ledger, and a token that guarantees the securing of the evidence for everyone to test themselves. So let's just do an overview of where we're at and what's capable. So you secured your own private keys. We're on a test network at the moment. So we have these dashboards that summarize information, and this one's to do with step planning, your wearables. So we've got the activity and heart rate today, and then the average heart rate, and we have these other categories. We have our data section, so there's one device live, we can add data. Currently we can do the Lufton Data Air Quality Project, so we have data from so your wearable yourself, your heart rate, your activity, and then your environment. And that was the idea, to have two and then combine them. So you can do I sleep better when it's warmer or cold outside, for example. And the goal of the project was to put the user and the peer, the DIY scientists first, and give them the toolkit, and then innovate on the network, the ledger, and then introduce a sustainable token that can introduce things like smart subscription funding model. So these components we see in the dashboard are made through this toolkit, where you can select what you want to build, whether you want to observe, view some, and the list of computational models will add as the network grows, and then you learn. There's two parts to the visualization, what I call the past, and then, as we'll see, the future. And we've got a toolkit AI that will produce the data. So we can go back in time, select multiple days, and chart those out to add them to a dashboard. So once you've built these components, they get listed here, and each have got control panels, so we can see that the wearable data is being used across multiple experiments.